Welcome. Namaste. So for this practice, we'll begin lying down on our backs, facing up. Place the soles of your feet flat on the mat and bring them closer to your hips. And then allow your feet to be a little bit wider than your hips so that the knees can fall towards each other gently with ease. Making sure that your inner thighs and groins are soft, shoulders heavy, head heavy, and allowing gravity to do the work for you in this initial pose. Take a deep inhale through your nose, fill your body with breath. Open your mouth, exhale, let it go. Twice more, inhale, expand. Through the mouth, exhale, let it go. Feel yourself contract. Last time through, inhale deep. Through the mouth, exhale, let it go. And softly closing the lips. Begin to move the breath through the nose, coming in, going out. And if it feels appropriate and right, I'm going to ask you to place your hands to your ribs, allowing some part of your hands to touch the sides of the wrists, the ribs. Allowing the shoulders to stay heavy, no work there. And making sure that some part of your hands is touching the side body, the side ribs. And with this, begin to deepen the breath and to expand the breath. And maybe sense the expansion of your side body. On the inhales, maybe sensing how those side ribs expand, making your side body wider, pushing against your hands gently. And sensing on the exhales how your ribs contract naturally towards the midline, making your waist a bit smaller. And see if you can keep at least some of your attention there. Without forcing, without creating something that doesn't happen naturally, but try to visualize this expansion and contraction of the side body, of the side ribs and waist. And the invitation for this practice today is to cultivate the energy of expansion. When you think of expansion, what comes to mind? Not only expansion of body, but expansion of thought, expansion of ideas, of opportunities, expansion of horizons, expansion in the ways you live your life. Do you sense freedom? Does it come to mind a sense of fluidity, of being able to move around? Keeping in mind that in order for there to be balance and equanimity, as much as we expand to bring us back to a sense of center and home, we also need a sense of contraction, of coming back in. So plant the seed at this first moment of this sense of expansion and what it means to you, while also keeping in mind that there is a need for a sense of contraction, of coming back in. Keeping the breath steady, fluid, and deep. Maybe shifting into Ujjayi if it feels right. Otherwise, just keep the sense of expanding the breath. Both the inhale and the exhale begin to expand, to stretch out. And maybe even placing a small pause after the inhale and a small pause after the exhale. Notice if you still sense this expansion of the side body, the side ribs expanding out, contracting in. Keeping this breath, drop the arms down by your sides. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, hug the knees to your chest and either rock and roll forward up to a seated position or roll on over to one side and come up. Either way, you find yourself in Sukhasana, cross-legged seated pose. I'm going to ask Maria to maybe face forward. Find a comfortable seat. Feel your sit bones anchoring down to the ground, maybe sensing the sides of your legs that are making contact with the earth, making sense of this change of orientation of the body in relation to gravity, to earth. How do you feel? Did the breath change, shift in some way? Can you still sense, maybe even just a little bit, this expansion of the ribs, this movement of the side body as you breathe? And keeping that in mind, very softly, bring your left hand to the ground right beside your left hip, not forward or back from the hip, right beside you. And then with your right arm, rotate it externally, meaning palm faces up towards the sky. Anchoring down with those hips on an inhale, circle your right arm up to the sky, pause at the top, lengthen that spine up and down. And as you exhale, lateral flexion, side bend over to your left and pause and breathe for this first cycle. Making sure that that down shoulder, the left shoulder is sliding down the back. Can you keep rotating your upper arm, the right arm, so that the palm maybe begins to face backward, thumb up, pinky down, yes. And then lengthen your arm a little bit more and pause here and breathe. Can you sense the expansion of your right side with each inhale? Noticing how those right ribs expand over to the side. And then sense the contraction of your left side. Notice how it comes naturally, and then consciously see if you can squeeze the left side a little bit more. Imagining that there's a lemon or an orange right there at your side waist on the left side. Imagining you wanted to squeeze that orange or that lemon with your side ribs. Nice. On the next inhale, come back up, press that left hand down, drop that right arm down by your side, and then we switch. Right hand right beside your right hip, rotate the left arm externally, anchor those hips down, and on an inhale, circle that left arm up towards the sky, reach up, lengthen that spine first. And then as you exhale, lateral flexion on the other side, side bend over to your right side and breathe. And notice here, notice your breath first. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you can even come down on your forearm or just lengthen that right hand over to the right a little bit more. And sense your breath once again, now expanding the left side of your body, the left ribs, the left waist. And notice the natural contraction that happens on your right side. Now, can you choose to squeeze and contract that right side consciously with a little bit more intention and a little bit more energy without overforcing, overworking anything? How's that breath? Beautiful. Give it one last little reach. Press down with the right hand. On an inhale, come back up. As you exhale, left hand comes down. And we're going to flow at just 2 cycles of this, 1 breath per movement. On an inhale, circle both arms up towards the sky. Reach up, lengthen both sides. As you exhale, drop the left hand down, side bend over to the left softly. Inhale deep, come back up with both arms, lengthen. As you exhale, over to the right and squeeze that side waist as you exhale. Last cycle here. On an inhale, lift up, expand those side ribs as you lift up. On the exhale, over to the left, squeeze that left side. Nice. Last time through, on an inhale, reach up, lengthen up. As you exhale, over to the right, squeeze that right side. Nice. Last time, inhale, lengthen up, palms connect at the top, maybe look up. As you exhale, trace the midline of your body, connect the hands to the heart. And here we pause. And as we always do in Ubuntu Yoga, we ask, how may I serve? By being aware of this expansion and contraction, not only of body, mind, heart, how may I serve myself, those around me, and this earth that sustains me? And whatever you visualized, whatever came to mind when you thought about the word and the concept of expansion, see if you can move throughout this practice with those qualities in mind, trying to make those seeds grow, bloom. If the eyes are closed, you softly open them and come into tabletop pose, all 4 positions. Shoulders right above the wrists, hips right above the knees. And from here, softly, lengthen your right leg back as if your right leg were in a plank pose. Spin the right foot flat on the mat. Sole the right foot flat, nice. Making sure your left shoulder is right above the wrist or maybe even a little bit behind the wrist, never forward. From here, on an inhale, circle that right arm up to the sky and pause here in one of the modifications of what we call side plank or Vashisthasana. And first, notice your breath. Notice how naturally there is a slight contraction of your left side waist and there is a natural expansion of your right side waist. Now, naturally, because the body looks for the road of least resistance, notice if you're popping your glutes, your butt out behind you. Can you lengthen your tailbone towards that right heel? And can you lengthen your heart and the crown of the head forward? Now notice, are you going into a back bend? Do you need to soften the front ribs to really keep the work on the sides? And from here, we lengthen and extend this modified side plank. So on an inhale, spin your heart a little bit more towards the sky. Externally rotate that right arm, and on your exhale, extend that right arm forward all the way. One long line of energy from your right fingertips all the way to your right heel, and pause here and breathe. Noticing that down arm, the left arm, are you pressing the floor away? Can you slide your left shoulder blade down your back? And then, same as you did before in the previous pose, can you consciously Squeeze that left side a little bit more, and at the same time lengthen the right side a little bit more. How much of each thing do you choose to stay in center, even though your body is in an extremely asymmetrical pose at this moment, doing completely opposite things? Beautiful. On an inhale, right arm back up to the sky. As you exhale, right hand down to the mat, back to the pose where your right leg is on a plank position. Pause here. From here, just lift that right leg up towards the sky, parallel to your hip. Neutralize the hip, and then consciously open up that right hip, pointing those right toes over to the right. Keep that. See if you can lift that right leg a little bit higher. And from there, bring that right leg forward until your ankle, the right ankle, is aligned with your right hip. Once you reach, give your leg a little bit more juice for just a second. And as you exhale, bring the sole of that right foot down on the ground, making sure that ankle and hip are on the same line. Press that right foot flat on the ground. Beautiful. From here, lift the torso up, crown of the head, looking up. So come on up until you're standing on the right foot and your left knee. And then allow your right hand to rest on that right thigh. On an inhale, circle the left arm up towards the sky, reach up, lengthen that spine. And as you exhale, side bend over to the right. Allow the right hand to slide down that right leg and breathe. And once again, notice, investigate. Are you going into a back bend? Is your tailbone pushing back? Can you soften it down? Are your front ribs poking forward? Can you soften them as well? And can you feel the expansion on your left side now and the contraction on your right? Beautiful. Next inhale, come back up on the inhale. As you exhale, place both hands down on the mat, coming back, reversing what you just did. Inhale, lift the right leg back up, pause, flex that foot vigorously, and then softly take your right leg all the way back. Right toes face down now, neutralize the hips. Take one last inhale there, kick that right heel back. As you exhale, right knee down, all fours position once again. And we move on to the other side. How's that breath? How's that expansion and contraction in your breath? From here, slide that left leg back as if it were in a plank pose. And from there, spin the sole of the left foot flat on the mat. Notice your right shoulder, making sure that it's right above or a little bit behind of that right wrist. And as you're ready, on an inhale, circle that left arm up to the sky. Modified side plank or modified Vashisthasana, and you pause there and breathe. Now notice what comes naturally. Notice your habits. Is your butt pushing out and back? Do you go naturally into a back bend, as most of us do? Can you soften the front ribs? Can you lengthen the tailbone back towards that left heel now? And can you press the floor away with that right hand as you reach the ceiling with that left arm? And can you breathe while you do this? From here, we extend it. So on an inhale, roll that heart up towards the sky a little bit more as you spin the palm of your up hand towards your ear. And as you exhale, extend that left arm forward all the way overhead. Pause there and breathe. So now on this side, can you feel the right side of your waist squeezing and contracting? And at the same time, can you feel the left side of your body expanding, lengthening? And can you find a little bit of both What amount do you need of each action so that you feel in balance, so that you feel at home? Beautiful. On an inhale, bring that left arm back up to the sky. As you exhale, left hand comes down to the mat and you come back into a half plank with that left leg. Align your arms and on an inhale, lift that left leg up and back, parallel to the ground. Open up that left hip, turning those left toes out. Keep that. See if you can lift that left leg a little bit more. Yes. And with that, bring that left leg forward until it's aligned with your hip. For a second, give it a little bit more juice. How's that breath? And as you exhale, foot of that left leg comes down. Press the sole of the left foot and make sure that the ankle is aligned with your hip. Trying not to bring it more forward or backward. Beautiful. From here, stand up. Torso long, crown of the head, looking towards the sky. Allow your left hand to rest on that left leg softly, gently. And from here, on an inhale, circle your right arm up to the sky. Lift up, lengthen that spine and those side waists. And as you exhale, side bend over to the left. Allow that left hand and arm to slide down that leg and breathe. And once again, go ahead and explore. Are you dumping into your low back? Yes. Are you poking your front ribs forward? Can you isolate this work to your side body, keeping everything else neutral so that you can really work on the side body, which is often very neglected in pretty much every form of physical effort? Can you consciously squeeze that left side a little bit more as you expand that right side? On an inhale, come back up, crown of the head faces up. As you exhale, both hands down to the ground, we reverse what we just did. On an inhale, lift that left leg up, flex that foot, give it juice, find your breath. And with intention, bring that left leg back. Spin those left toes down, neutralize that hip. Take one last inhale. And as you exhale, left knee comes down to the ground, all fours position. Beautiful. From here, tuck the toes, take an inhale. And as you exhale, downward facing dog, hips back and up. Pause there and breathe. Now, if this is the first down dog of the day for you, feel free to shorten your stance, make it a short down dog. Feel free to give those knees a slight bend. But whatever you do, can you make sure that the energy of your heels is pressing down towards the ground even if they never reach the floor? Can you make sure that your tailbone and your hips are pulling up towards the sky? And sense your side body. Can you sense how when you press your hands down and take your hips up, there's length not only in your spine, but in the side body? Same thing here. Do you tend to go into a back bend? Do you tend to overexpand those front ribs? Can you softly and gently soften them down? Beautiful. Take one last inhale in down dog. As you exhale, walk your feet forward to the top of the mat until you reach the hands into what we call Uttanasana, intense forward fold. Pause there and breathe. Same as with down dog. If this is the first forward fold of the day, allow the knees to be soft, chest resting down on those thighs. And without over-efforting, can you sense the lengthening of the side body here as well? How's that breath? Now from here, Hands to the outer shins. On an inhale, lengthen that spine forward, what we call Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold, and pause here for the first cycle. Can you lengthen the tailbone back as you reach your heart forward? Yes. And try to lengthen the side waist a little bit more. What do you need to do for that to happen? Yes, yes, yes. Beautiful. How's that breath? Can you feel that expansion? Take one last inhale here. Bring your hands to your hips. On your exhale, activate that low belly. Heart reaches forward. On your next inhale, you come up to standing. Exhale, hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra, and we set the intention once again. Bringing back all the energy and qualities that come to mind and heart when you think about expansion and the return home. And see if you can keep these qualities present as you move through this flow. So from here, drop your arms down by your side, Tadasana. 10 toes facing forward, 4 corners of each foot pressing down towards the earth as the crown of your head reaches up. Find expansion here. In this very neutral pose, can you feel the side body growing up as you anchor down at the same time? Now from here, I'm going to ask Maria to face forward for this little piece next. From here, on your inhale, circle your arms up towards the sky. Pause there and first feel the length of your spine and the side body. Keep that, anchor both feet down, and I'm going to ask you to grab your right wrist with your left hand. And as if your left hand could pull the right side of your body a little bit up more than the left, take an inhale, and as you exhale, side bend over to the left, pause there and breathe. Now for this first cycle, make sure that both feet are pressing down towards the earth, and make sure that you're opening up with breath the right side of your body. Those right side ribs are expanding. Beautiful. Now see consciously if you can squeeze that imaginary lemon on your left side, and notice what changes when you bring in a little bit of muscular action to the expansion. How does it feel? How does it change? And are you breathing while you do it? Press down into the feet on the next inhale. Come back up, separate the hands once again, and switch hands. So grab the left wrist with your right arm. Pull a little bit longer, take an inhale. And as you exhale, side bend over to the right and breathe. And first arrive naturally. Notice what comes naturally, and once again, is your chest collapsing down, avoiding the side work? Do you need to soften the front ribs? Feeling the feet pressing down, reaching with that left arm over to the right. Now consciously squeeze that lemon on your right side. Beautiful. Last cycle here. On an inhale, come back up, separate the hands, and switch over to the first side. So grab the right wrist, take an inhale, lift up. As you exhale, side bend over to the left, pause here. Now I'm going to ask you to feel with your mind your right hip and allow that right hip to slide over to the right, yes, making the pose a little bit more global, less local. So now naturally the weight is over on that right foot. The left foot is practically floating. And can you sense the difference? Maybe feeling the side work not only in your waist, but maybe on that right hip, that right side thigh, even the calf for some people. Squeeze that left side just for a second. And then from here, on an inhale, come back up, switch hands last time through, take an inhale. As you exhale, right on over to the right, pause. And then consciously take that left hip and slide it over to the left, beautiful. And breathe, notice the difference, what shifts, what changes. How's that breath? On an inhale, come back up, separate the hands, then palms together, maybe look up. As you exhale, bring palms to heart center to connect once again. And how do you feel? Do you sense a little bit more height, more space in the side body? What is changing from when you began the practice? Now come up to the top of the mat if you're not already there. And we move into Surya Namaskar A. Find your breath, arms down by your side. Spin the arms, palms face forward. On an inhale, circle your arms up towards the sky. Lengthen from side to side, beautiful. Uttanasana, as you exhale, forward fold. Hinge from your hips and drop down low. Inhale to a flat back, lengthen those side waists as well as your spine. And as you exhale, step into plank pose, upper push-up position, and pause there. Making sure that your shoulders are right above the wrists or maybe even a little bit behind them. Bring your feet together to connect back, yes. And we're gonna come into side plank over on the left side. So shift over to the outer edge of your left foot. Right leg is on top of the left. And if you need a modification for this pose, I'm going to ask Maria to lift her right leg up, bend the knee and bring her right foot forward in front of her, bending that knee. Yes, and supporting herself with that right leg so she doesn't lose the work on that left side. On an inhale, if you're ready, either variation, circle that right arm up to the sky, Vashisthasana, side plank pose, and breathe. And see if you can feel the work. Now instead of focusing on the expansion, we're working on the contraction of the side body, in this instance on the left side. So imagine that lemon there on your left waist, and can you squeeze that lemon almost as if you wanted to lift your left hip and your left waist up, higher up towards the sky. And as you do that, are you going into a back bend in any way? Is your tailbone pressing back? Are you jutting your front ribs forward? Can you soften them? And how are those arms? Are those wings expanding as well? Sliding that left shoulder blade down the back, beautiful. Give it one last inhale here. As you exhale, back to plank pose, both hands down, both legs straight. And we move on to the other side. So shift over to the outer edge of that right foot, left leg on top, and I'm going to ask Maria to keep the classical variation here. As you're ready, circle that left arm up towards the sky. And if you're in the full variation of this pose, I'm going to ask you to keep your big toes together, but separate your heels about 4 inches. And this just makes sure that both hip bones are facing to the side, that you're not spinning your hips towards the sky. And then find that squeeze over on your right side. Yes, lift up with that right side of your whole body, not just the waist, the leg. And then spread open those wings, expand in all directions. How's that breath? Is it expanding? Nice. Take one last inhale here. As you exhale back to plank pose, pause in plank pose, take an inhale. As you exhale, chaturanga, lower very slowly with control. Even here, baby cobra on an inhale, can you lengthen your sides as you lift that heart up. First back bend, go slow. Exhale, downward facing dog, hips back and up, and breathe. And now we get ready to flow through this for 2 more cycles, bringing a little bit more rhythm and heat. Take an inhale, press your chest back, hips back. As you exhale, step or hop forward to the top of the mat. Inhale, flat back, lift the heart, lengthen the sides. Exhale, forward fold, soften. Press the feet down, circle the arms up to the sky, palms connect at the top. Right on over to Uttanasana, forward fold on your exhale. Hinge at the hips and lower down. Inhale, flat back, lengthen. Exhale, step to plank pose and pause, feet together to connect at the back. Over onto the left side, side plank to the left. On your inhale, lift that right arm up, pause on the exhale. Take a last inhale. And as you exhale, come back to plank pose. Beautiful. Pause in plank, realign what you need, and right on over to the right side. Inhale the left arm up, squeeze that right side and expand those wings. Pause. Take a last inhale here. As you exhale back to plank pose, please. Take an inhale in plank. Chaturanga, exhale, lower. Cobra or up dog, if you feel ready, spread the heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Last one to go. How's that breath and how's that intention? Take an inhale, press your thighs back. Exhale, walk or hop forward to the top of the mat. Inhale, flat back, lengthen the spine and the sides. Exhale, forward fold, drop the head. Legs are strong, torso long. On an inhale, circle the arms up to the sky, palms connect, feel your length. Uttanasana, forward fold all the way down. Inhale, flat back, lengthen, find space. Exhale, plank pose, last time, last cycle here. Side plank over to your left side as you're ready. Inhale, lift that right arm up, squeeze that left side. Right on over to plank pose on your exhale. Right side on an inhale, lift that left arm up, squeeze the right. Exhale, plank pose, beautiful. Take an inhale and plank. Chaturanga, exhale, lower, slow. Cobra or up dog, when you're ready, lift that heart up, slide the shoulders down and back. Exhale, downward facing dog, pause there and breathe. Take a deep inhale through your nose, fill those lungs and those side ribs. Open your mouth out wide, exhale, let it go. Softly nod your head a little yes. Nod your head a little no. Keeping your intention, those seeds that you planted in your mind and heart. Noticing your breath, we move on. On your inhale, lift your right leg up and back. Lengthen that leg without losing the neutrality in the hips. Kick that right heel. As you exhale, bring the right foot forward, top of the mat. Runner's lunge. Stay on the ball of that back left foot. Pause there. Come up onto your fingertips if you can. And then see if you can suck the right thigh bone back. Yes. Press the left thigh bone up. And then what do you need to lengthen your side body on both sides? Yes, lengthen the heart forward. Lengthening the tailbone back. How's the breath? Now keeping that length on your next inhale, come up to crescent pose and pause there and breathe. Now we're focusing on lengthening the side body. So if you feel you're going into a back bend on this pose, as many of us do, I'm going to ask you to give that back knee, the left knee, a slight bend, allowing you to drop the tailbone down towards the ground and lift your heart up towards the sky. How are those front ribs? Do you need softening there? Take one last inhale, crescent pose. As you exhale, open up to warrior two. Beautiful. Front heel to back inner heel or back inner arch, your choice. Sit down deep into that right thigh, but notice your sides, and can you lengthen both of them while staying in what we call warrior two? Can you expand as well your arms in opposite directions, feeling your shoulder blades move away from the midline of your body? How's that breath? Most importantly, is your breath, are your thoughts expansive? Beautiful. From here, keep what you have in the legs. Spin the right palm up towards the sky. On an inhale, reverse your warrior. Take that right arm up all the way back and allow your left hand to slide down that left leg as you did in gate pose when we were on the mat. Now from here, lengthen the right side body, and can you squeeze the left side body? And what does it change when you do that? Are your legs still holding you up, or did you forget that your legs are there to support you? How's that breath? Take a last inhale, give it one last little reach. Back to warrior two. On your exhale, lengthen those arms once again. Modified side angle pose. Place your right forearm on top of your right thigh and take your left arm up towards the sky. Pause there and breathe. Notice that you're sitting down deep on that right thigh as much as is accessible to you today. And then making sure that you're not dumping into that right shoulder. Can you slide that shoulder blade, the right one, down the back? Beautiful. Now notice your torso. Are you lengthening both sides of it? Can you lengthen the tailbone towards that left heel? Can you lengthen your heart and crown of the head forward? And from here, we extend the angle. So on an inhale, turn your heart a little bit more towards the sky. Spin that left palm towards your ear. And as you exhale, extend that left arm forward, up and over your head. Pause there and breathe. Now here, instead of contracting one side and lengthening the other, see if you can lengthen both sides. So that may mean you may sacrifice a little bit of expansion on the left side, but the good news is that you're keeping both sides of your waist, your torso long, both lungs receiving the breath. Now from here, a little bit more heat. We're gonna flow it. So find your breath. On an inhale, come back to reverse warrior. Right hand all the way back, squeeze your left side. Exhale, side angle, extended side angle pose. That left arm goes all the way forward. Two more with the breath. On an inhale, reverse the warrior up and back. Breathe deep. As you exhale, extended side angle all the way forward. Beautiful. Last time through, on an inhale, reverse the warrior all the way back. Extended side angle on your exhale. Beautiful. Come back to warrior two on your inhale. Pause, feel the pose. As you exhale, circle the hands down to the mat, runner's lunge. Spin on the ball of the back foot. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, lower your left knee down into a low lunge. And if there's sensitivity in that back knee, feel free to place a blanket or a towel on that back knee. From here, lengthen both sides of your waist. Press the right foot down, especially that heel, and then take your hands and place them on top of that right knee. Use the strength of your arms to bring your torso all the way up to vertical, and that may mean you come out of the pose with that pelvis. So lift the pelvis up so that you're not dumping in the low back. Yes. Keep that and drop your arms down by your sides. From here, on an inhale, circle the arms up towards the sky, and as you did in the beginning, grab your left wrist with your right hand. Take an inhale at the top, lengthen, and as you exhale, side bend over to your right and pause. And there's a habit we have here to allow the torso to drop forward or the chest to point towards the ground. Can you keep your heart facing forward? Can you isolate the work to your sides? Squeezing the right, lengthening the left on this instance. How's that breath? On an inhale, come back up to center, separate the hands, lift up. As you exhale, hands down, framing that front foot, tuck the left toes. Lift that right knee on an inhale, that left knee, Look forward. As you exhale, bring the left foot forward to the top of the mat. Uttanasana, forward fold. Flat back on the inhale, lengthen the spine, create more space. Keep that, hands to your hips on the exhale. Inhale, come back up, lift the crown of the head all the way up. Hands to heart center to connect on the exhale. And once again, I will ask Maria to face forward for this last standing pose on this side. Find a point for your gaze in front of you. We're going into a balanced pose, what we call a tree pose. And start shifting the weight of your body over to your left leg. Now, keeping your gaze soft, grab your right ankle and place the sole of that right foot to the left inner thigh. Now, if you need modification for this pose, you can place your right heel to your left ankle and allow the right toes to stay on the ground as Maria is showing right now. So pick the variation that works for you today. You can come to the variation that you want. And from here, on an inhale, making sure that both hip bones are facing forward. And that may mean that you sacrifice a little bit how much you open up that right knee over to the side. From here, circle the arms up to the sky, pause in tree pose, Vrikshasana, and see if you can feel the length created in the side body. Making sure you're pressing down with that left foot, and then you're pressing in with the right foot towards the left inner thigh, and the left inner thigh creates resistance and presses against that foot. And now use that energy and rebound it so that you can lengthen up. Now you can stay here, or you can go into the variation of the side bend. Grab once again your left wrist with your right hand. Take an inhale and very gently and slowly go over, side bend over to your right side and breathe. Noticing the expansion on your left side waist. And now we're going to do 2 actions at the same time. Can you begin by sliding your left hip over to the left as you did in Tadasana with the side bend? Yes, making it more global. And then can you find a little bit of resistance, squeezing that right side of your waist, making sure you come back home to center. Feel the pose, 1 last second there. Softly on your inhale, come back up, separate the hands, give juice to that left leg, lengthen up. As you exhale, kick that right leg forward, hands connect. Bring the right foot down as you bring the hands to heart center and pause. What effect has this practice left you with? Back to the top of the mat, we clean the slate and come on over to the other side. On an inhale, circle the arms up to the sky, lengthen up. Uttanasana, forward fold, let it go, squeeze the breath out. Inhale to a flat back, lengthen forward. Exhale, your choice, only one vinyasa today, or straight to down dog. If you took it, inhale cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful. From here, on an inhale, lift the left leg up and back. As you exhale, bring the left foot forward, top of the mat, runner's lunge. Stay on the ball of that right foot. Now notice once again, so left thigh bone, pulling it back as your right thigh bone is pressing up. Give the legs some juice, give yourself some stability. And now notice your torso. Can you lengthen your sides? What do you need? Yes. Feel your base, your legs, and on an inhale, come up to crescent pose once again. And same thing here, this inquiry. Where are you right now? Do you have the habit of turning this pose into a back bend? Do you need to give that back right knee a slide bend so that you can drop the tailbone down and soften the front ribs as you lengthen up? Imagine that you wanted to grow. Bring this intention of expansion back to front and center. And what does it mean to you? Take one last inhale, crescent pose. Warrior two on your exhale, expand. Align your feet, your legs. Expand those wings that are your arms and sit down deep into that left thigh now. Where's your gaze right now? Where's your mind? Remembering that we are here to serve. How are you serving in this practice today? Spin the left palm up towards the sky, find your breath, and on your inhale, reverse the warrior. Take that left arm all the way up and back as you allow the right hand to slide down that right leg without losing the bend in that left thigh. Yes. And same thing here. Can you allow this to be a more active pose in the sense that as you expand the left side, can you squeeze that imaginary lemon on your right side? And how does that change this very familiar pose for many of you? Give it one last little reach. As you exhale, come back to warrior two, find your center. And from here, modified side angle pose, left forearm to left thigh, and take your right arm up to the sky and pause. Pressing that right back foot down, giving that back leg some juice. Can you lengthen the tailbone back, heart forward? And in this pose, remembering that we want to lengthen both side waists. So what does that mean for you? What do you need to do to lengthen, especially the left side, which tends to be squeezed in this pose? We extend the angle. So on an inhale, spin the heart up towards the sky as you turn the right palm towards your ear. And on your exhale, extend that right arm forward, all the way forward. Right fingertips to right heel, one long line of energy. And how's that left thigh? Is it talking to you right now? And from here, we flow it. So find your breath. And on your next inhale, right back to reverse warrior, all the way back. Feel the expansion on your left side. Extended side angle on your exhale. Squeeze the breath out as you lengthen forward. Two more. Inhale, reverse the warrior all the way back. Exhale, extended side angle all the way to the front. Nice. Last time through, inhale all the way back, reverse it. Exhale, extended side angle all the way forward. Beautiful. Come back to warrior two on your next inhale. As you exhale, circle the hands down, runner's lunge, pause there. Spin onto the ball of that back right foot, and then lower your right knee down on the mat, low lunge. Modify if you need to, bringing that right knee closer to the left foot or place something underneath that knee. Bring your hands to the left knee and use your arm strength to lift that torso up. Come all the way to vertical, lifting the pelvis up. So find length and space. Once you have that, drop your arms down by your sides. On an inhale, circle the arms up towards the sky once again. And this time, grab your right wrist with your left hand. Take an inhale. As you exhale, side bend over to your left and pause here and breathe. Can you make sure your heart is facing forward, face is facing forward? Can you take your breath over to your right side as you softly squeeze the left side? And notice that you can choose how much of these actions you bring into each pose. It depends on what you need to feel centered, in balance, how much you want to feel the pose. On your next inhale, come back up, separate the hands, lift up, lengthen up. As you exhale, bring the hands down, framing that left foot. Tuck your right toes, and on an inhale, lift that right knee up, look forward. As you exhale, bring the right foot forward, top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale to a flat back, lengthen, pause there. Hands to hips on your exhale, lengthen even more if you can. On an inhale, come up to vertical. Exhale, hands connect at the center of your heart. Beautiful. Asking Maria once again to face forward. Last standing pose of the day. So feel your feet grounded, both feet facing forward. Find one point for your gaze and allow your gaze to rest. Maybe even feeling your eyelids getting a little bit heavier. From here, feel your weight shift over onto your right leg. And as you're ready, find the variation for tree pose. So either grab the left ankle and place the left foot on your right inner thigh, or the modification down on the ground, your choice. Both hip points facing forward, making that left knee face forward a little bit, just enough so that you find center. And as you're ready, full tree pose, circle the arms up towards the sky, and first pause there. And see if you can embrace the natural movement that your body makes in this pose. Can you embrace it instead of creating any sort of aversion towards it? Pressing the right foot down, using that counter energy, left foot presses thigh, inner thigh presses foot, and then find length through your sides. Can you lengthen the side body? Yes. You can stay here or grab the right wrist with your left hand, take an inhale, and very slowly as you exhale, side bend over to your left and breathe. Now you can stay here or make it more global by taking your right hip over to the right, sliding it out to the right as you squeeze your left ribs, your left side. Notice how many changes, how many different ways there are to do the same thing. That's the beauty of diversity. Softly come back up on your next inhale. Separate the hands. Come back to classical tree pose. Kick your left leg forward. Take an inhale. Nice. As you exhale, palms connect. Bring your hands together as your left foot connects to the right. Beautiful. How does it feel? What has changed? How's that intention and that breath? Back to the top of the mat. Last time through, we clear the slate. On an inhale, circle your arms up, palms connect, maybe look up. Forward fold on your exhale, squeeze the breath out, empty yourself of everything. Inhale to a flat back, lengthen forward. Yogi's choice, vinyasa or straight to down dog. Exhale. If you took it, inhale to cobra or upward facing dog, spread the heart. Exhale, downward facing dog, pause. Take a deep inhale through your nose, fill your body with breath. Open your mouth wide, exhale. Relax your knees down on the mat. Crawl your whole body forward, maybe 3/4 of the way forward. And find the simplest way to find yourself in Dandasana staff pose. So sit down, lengthen your legs forward, making sure your feet are flexed, as if you wanted your toes to touch your face and your heels to touch the wall, the space in front of you. If there's any sensitivity or you're tight on your hamstrings, give those knees a slight bend, maybe. Whatever variation you choose, you can also sit on top of a blanket to give your hips more height. Now from here, on an inhale, circle your arms up towards the sky. Lift those sides as much as you can. Keep that height, that expansion. As you exhale, start coming forward first and then down. So see how much of that expansion and length you can keep. Once you can't come forward any longer, grab whatever you can. Sides of the feet, hook the big toes, grab the ankles, the calves, even the thighs. Whatever you choose, I'm going to ask you to keep an active pose. So your legs are holding you there, that's your base. See if you can activate those thighs, those top thighs, as if you wanted to lift the knees, even if the knees are bent. And now feel your spine. Is it rounding? And if it's rounding, can you choose to not go as deep maybe, but keep the length that you have created? And notice if that feels like a sacrifice to you and ask yourself why. Now, if it's available for you and you're grabbing something of your legs, see if you can open your elbows out to the sides, using your arms as little levers to pull you forward more, not down. Lengthen the heart forward as you maybe press your pubic bone down to lengthen the spine. And we breathe here, just a couple of breaths. Feeling this beautiful union of seemingly opposite energies. On your inhale, feel the length that your lungs create, the expansion that the lungs provide with the breath. And on your exhale, feel how your side ribs hug in, allowing you to go deeper into the pose without sacrificing what you have created. Where's your mind? How's that breath? For a last breath here, we collapse. So take a deep inhale through your nose. As you exhale through your mouth, drop everything. Allow the spine to round. Drop the arms. Allow the legs to be soft. Drop everything and collapse for a little bit. Now, keeping what you have in your spine, allowing it to round naturally, roll on up softly, and then keep rolling all the way down until you're lying down on the mat. And once your head makes contact with the ground, hug the knees into your chest. And you could keep the knees hugging in and just massage your back by rolling, rocking. Or you can come into a soft, happy baby pose, allowing those hips a well-deserved break. Your choice. A little bit of free movement here. What do you need before we move on to the last poses of this practice today? Beautiful. From here, hug your knees back into your chest if you're not there already. Keep your right knee hugging in and stretch your left leg down into the front of the mat. Beautiful. Keep your right knee where it is with your left hand and open up your right arm over to the side into a T or cactus position, your choice. And from here, take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, twist over, allowing that right knee to come all the way over to the left. And if this twist is not right for you for any reason, feel free to modify and come into any twist that feels right. Maybe bending both knees, crossing one thigh over the other, find your place. You can also modify this pose by placing something, a blanket or a block, underneath that bent knee, the right knee. And that usually makes it more accessible if, for whatever reason, you feel any pinch or pain. And see if you can take your breath right now over to your right chest. Maybe even taking the breath to your right armpit. See if you can feel it there. Beautiful. Take last inhale here. And as you exhale, first bring your right knee back towards your chest. Come back to center. And allow the left knee to join the right. Hug both knees in. And then we switch. Keep the left knee and stretch your right leg forward and down. Open your left arm over to the side into a T or cactus position. As you're ready, take a deep inhale. And on your exhale, twist over to your right, allowing that left knee to come all the way over. And if you need to modify again, you can also slide both hips over to the left. And that gives you a little bit more wiggle room for that spine and that twist. Last pose of the day. See if you can take your breath now over to your left chest, left armpit, and create a little bit of expansion there. Take a last inhale here. As you exhale, come back to center, hugging that left knee in once again. Left knee is joined by the right. Hug both knees in for the last time. And the invitation to bring to mind the quality of gratitude and to ask yourself, what do you feel grateful for today? If you haven't already, give yourself thanks. Hug your knees tightly in, take an inhale, and as you exhale, bring your forehead up to your knees if it's available. Stay there and give yourself a big hug of gratitude. One last time, say thanks as you take a deep inhale in through your lungs. Open your mouth, exhale, Shavasana. Extend your legs forward and down. Arms down by your sides, palms facing towards the sky. And now allow your body to completely soften and rest. And before we drop completely into Shavasana, coming back to how we began this practice, without the use of your hands, feel your side body and feel your breath. And see if you can sense the expansion of your side ribs as you inhale, and the natural contraction of those same ribs as you exhale. And notice if not anything else, if there's more awareness of this part of you. Maybe you feel the breath a little bit deeper, more expansive, maybe not. Notice what's there. And notice how naturally in the breath, both actions are necessary. We need to expand to take in the oxygen that keeps us alive, but we could never inhale permanently, keep taking things in. The exhale brings the contraction that allows us to let go of that which already served us and is no longer needed for us, but for something else is. Trees need the CO2 that we give away and release. And we could also not hold on very much longer if we continuously exhaled and let go. We need both expansion and contraction. Taking in, letting out. How does this idea of expansion, what comes to mind and heart, changed for you, if at all, throughout the practice? Very gently, start coming back. Maybe moving fingers and toes, coming back to the sensations of the body. Flexing both knees, placing soles of the feet flat on the ground. And then taking your left arm up and back, roll on over to your left side using that left arm as a pillow. And with the help of that right arm, come up to a cross-legged seated pose to close the practice today. Palms together at the center of the heart, bowing your chin in a gesture of humility and gratitude. If it feels appropriate and right, repeat internally with me. May all beings be safe. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free. And together we say Ubuntu. I am because we are. Namaste.